First of all, you don't know me.
We're all about that high school drama girl, all about them high school queens. We'll take you for a ride in our comic girl, cheering for the right team. Drama queens, smart girl, rough girl, fashion but you're tough girl. You could sit with us, girl. Drama queens, drama queens, drama queens, drama queens, drama queens.
All right, if we're kicking this off, I just want to say, can I get my honorable mention out of the way right away?
Do it.
Like right away. You guys, the t-shirt that Quentin is wearing in this episode.
Oh, God. On the river court.
It looks like a penis Rorschach. It looks like
just a bunch of dicks.
3 dicks got smashed together and it's on the shirt. And it was all I cared about. Everything else was so like cringy and like, oh God. But that penis shirt made me laugh so hard.
I think they might have been little like silk screens of R2-D2s, but they looked like dicks.
Damn. I wish I had noticed that. I totally missed it.
You have to go back and pause it when Nathan is talking to Quentin on the river court.
Yeah.
You're never going to unsee it is the
It's
thing.
a moment.
Well, welcome everybody. It's season 5, episode 6. Don't dream it's over. Hey now. February 8th, 2008. Lucas confronts Peyton about her harsh treatment of Lindsay, which ends up in a huge argument over their past. Brooke intervenes when Victoria meddles with Peyton's record label. And Nathan grows closer to Jamie's live-in nanny, Carrie. Is she living in? I guess I didn't
Why
catch
is she
that.
living in?
I kind of thought she was just showing up for work every day and going home. While Haley is challenged by her difficult student, Quentin, Mouth becomes torn with the loyalty to his coworkers or his illicit affair with his boss, Alice.
You know, we're all in really different time zones now with me being overseas. So me and Hill and the team watched the episode, but you watched it this morning, Joy. Where were you?
I did.
What were you doing?
I watched it this morning. I was home. Maria did not have school today because it's like final exams week. And I had to help her study for some stuff today. So,
that's sweet.
I watched the episode on my own a little earlier this morning while she was sleeping.
Is there stuff like now that because you guys basically, have teenagers, like, are you reading shit in their books and going, what is this? I don't remember this. How do we do this math? I think about that.
No, new math is no fun.
We had to make a biome chart last night. I was like, the fuck is a biome chart? What are we doing here?
I don't even know what that is. That sounds terrifying to me.
It was dumb.
Maria, I got her a math tutor because she's blessed in math the same way that I am. Great. And so she was talking with this, and her tutor is he's an older guy. He's like a grandpa kind of guy. He's probably in his 60s, and he's looking through her sheet of all this math, and it's she writes it like it's all over the page, and he's looking at what the problem the teacher gave her, and it took him a second, and finally he's like, "Can we just do it this way?" And he showed her the way that we know, like the easiest way to do long division or whatever. I don't know. I think she's in geometry now, and it's like, it took her 4 seconds. I mean, she just listened, watched it, and she was like, oh. And from now on, it's so easy. But I don't understand why. I'm not a teacher. I don't know what the deal is with core curriculum. I don't know where it's coming from or who's making these decisions. But new math sucks, guys. Whoever's in charge needs to stop it.
I mean, I thought the old math sucked. So I don't want to know anything about this new math of which you speak.
Guys, I'm hearing from other parents in town. Other parents are like coming up to me at basketball games going, oh, the math teacher hates your kid. And I'm like, how do other parents? It's like, yes, she's made her position known. Thank you so much.
Wow.
Appreciate you. Oh, if only we all had teachers like Haley James Scott.
Oh, boy.
By the way, I was going to say you get one of two options. I had teachers that were my Haleys, like amazing, incredible teachers who rocked my world in the best way, that like expanded every horizon I knew to exist. And then I think about how your kid could end up with a Nanny Carrie. And I'm like shook.
The older I get, the more I realize how realistic it is that there are real, deeply narcissistic, actual psychopaths out there all the time.
Oof.
And you never know who it is.
And Tori is playing the shifts in her so well. Like she's moving in these ways that are a little slinkier, but then with you, she's very prim and proper, but her wardrobe is changing. And her, like by the end of the episode, when Haley says, good to know there aren't monsters in the house, and she's out in I was like, oh my God, I want to die. I'm so uncomfortable. Like my skin was crawling.
She did it. She was doing it so subtly. It's that perfect blend of the dinner table is the best example I can think of when she says, he looks great out there. Your rehab's coming along. And it's like, it's the thing that makes you go, what the hell? And then you're like, oh no, I'm reading into it.
It's me. I'm the psycho.
Yeah.
Yep.
Haley's not the psycho here.
No.
When we were watching Joy, and it was the scene where Carrie's in the pool with the boys and Haley comes in. Like we couldn't stomach it. Like
screaming.
You standing there watching it. We've all lived that moment at some point in our lives where we're watching a betrayal happen right in front of our eyes and you can't react. Like you have to keep your composure. And it made me want to vomit. I hate it.
And you so deep. I mean, I so deeply don't, and I think Haley does too, didn't want to believe and doesn't, when you see those things happen, you don't want to believe that that's true because it shifts the reality of everything else that you had built a foundation on. So it's like, there's so much at stake. If a betrayal is true, then you have to unravel all this other stuff from the history. So yeah, it's really hard to watch Haley justify it in her mind and try and figure out and even apologize the next morning. I'm sorry. I don't mean to be. It's me. You're great.
You're doing so great. In what world is Nanny Carrie living in the house with you guys?
That's so strange. I did not think that was the case.
By the way, because in the beginning, remember that scene we talked about where you come in the car and she's like, okay, see you tomorrow. And she leaves. They've shifted it. And I think they've put live-in nanny in the episode description because they like the idea of, oh, now she lives in the house. Oh, that's why she's there swimming at night. The writers have just decided to shift it. And then they're doing that thing where they're like, no, it's always been like this. And as audience members / actors, we go, but it hasn't because 3 episodes ago, you made me say this.
Go home.
Yeah.
Go back to your house. Would she give up the lease on her apartment?
But like, do you think when Haley came out in that moment, was she watching the action in the pool and going, ruh-roh? Or did she hear, because woof, when you talk about that feeling of betrayal that turns your stomach upside down, when Jamie goes, get me, daddy, and Nanny Carrie says, yeah, get me, daddy.
Get me, daddy!
I would drag that woman out of that fucking pool by her hair and be like, get out of my house. Get out. Like, that was so inappropriate. Did you hear it?
Oh, God, it is making my chest red right now.
Yeah, skin crawling.
Look at us. We're all red in the face.
But hey, in what world is Nathan picking up a woman in a bikini and throwing her around in the pool?
Girl.
Come on.
Yeah. That's his shtick. Because remember when Peyton and Nathan went on their, boy toy auction date, we ended up in the pool and he was picking me up and throwing me around.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's his thing. Nathan loves throwing a chick around, man.
Still has this insecurity that just needs to be wanted, needs to be
Peter Pan.
Yeah.
And I also think there is a little bit of a well, obviously I don't mean it like that. Everybody's playing, the kids around. Peyton's my friend. We were just playing.
Yeah.
There is this deniability. I think that sometimes handsome men have because they're so used to things going their way that they're like, nah, it's not like that. And it's like, well, maybe not for you, you ding dong.
They're going to toe right up to that line.
But if you don't think that woman got in that pool covered in body oil in a little teeny weeny polka dot bikini,
girl,
on purpose, you're an idiot.
I'm mad about it.
I don't buy that.
Upset.
I wish Haley would have just walked right up to the edge of the pool and been like, yeah, daddy.
Yeah. What the hell are you doing?
That was so upsetting.
And then you let her come to dinner.
Yeah, why was she at the dinner table? I invited her to dinner. I felt so bad for asking her not to wear a bikini in the pool with my husband.
Well, and then she's in a V-neck that goes almost to her belly button.
Yeah. No, so strange.
Putting his pants on. Oh,
so
boy.
strange. I wonder if like I probably could have helped that a little bit more, made a little bit more sense in retrospect. I feel like if I had played Haley a little more frazzled in the last couple of episodes, where I was more distracted and more like just I don't know, as a observer now, if I was watching, if I was doing it again, I meant I think I would have done that.
But that's the ownership that women take, which we shouldn't, where it's like, well, if I were paying more attention, he wouldn't be paying attention to this nanny, or it wouldn't seem so weird. And like, I was No, Haley is doing everything f***ing right. Everything right. And these kinds of
that
chicks,
makes it more believable that that's why she would have missed it, like not really noticed it if she was distracted. I was like, Haley's smart. Why isn't she seeing what's going on?
Well, but most of it's happening behind your back.
Yeah, that's fair.
And to your point, you don't want to think that that's going on. And like, you know, your kid loves this person and having help is giving you some freedom as an individual. I get how layered that is. I just wish the writers would have had some sort of a line to acknowledge the fact that this woman moved in. Like, just put it in a scene. Just make it clear. So that we're not going, oh, it's in the synopsis. Like, come on, guys, tell us.
Yeah, my condo burnt down. That's what it should have been, right? She burned it down.
Yeah, she set fire to her building so she could live with you guys.
Oh my gosh. Well, okay, there was a lot in this episode. It felt like it was really jumping around and hitting do you know what it kind of felt like? Do you remember, Hilarie, when we were on set that one time and I don't know why we did it, but we ran through Les Mis in 5 minutes?
Oh, 100%.
This is what that episode felt like to me.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was just slammed all together.
Yeah, they were cramming so much in. They wanted to do this whole dream sequence for everyone, having a dream that turned into a nightmare. Yeah. So it starts happy and then it gets dark and it's Jamie and it's everyone. It's you, it's me. And then they also wanted the repeats. So Alice is a bitch. Peyton is a bitch. Your mom's a bitch. It won't happen again. It won't happen again. They have everybody echoing the last sentence of this scene is the first sentence of the next scene.
Yeah.
And so there were so many devices that it made the episode feel a little frazzled.
Yeah. Disjointed.
It was dense, though. Man, starting out with that creepy music and Dan Scott in fangs.
Oh, my God.
I was like, they did not make him a fucking vampire. Was True Blood on at this point? Is this when we were in our, like, True Blood phase?
Oh, wait, it was on because Joe got that job like a year later.
Yeah. Joe went from our show to True Blood, like season 5 or something.
Yeah.
Guys, we thought vampires were so sexy. I fucking loved that show so much.
I read all the Sookie Stackhouse novels.
Oh, God.
I sure did.
How come we didn't get to be vampires? Just Dan Scott, man.
Dan Scott and Victoria Davis.
Yes, Victoria's her own version of a vampire.
Yeah, she's like that really mean vampire that hung out with Alexander Skarsgård on the show. Just
oh, yeah. She was hot.
Bossing those chicks around. Yeah, the Dan thing, I like that conversation that Skills has with Nathan at the beginning of the episode because I've been in that position where it's like, what does your kid know? Because I know what my kid knows and I want to make sure we're all on the same page and you're asking me to lie to this child.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just set the boundaries here. And I like that Skills felt like he could just tell Jamie the truth.
Yeah.
I like that too. I think that's a good policy with kids.
And it also just made for such good comedy.
Yeah.
Like him trying not to blow it again. And then you told him Dan went to prison because he didn't clean his room. It really was nice.
I mean, does that work? I've got a 5-year-old right now.
You guys report back.
God.
Yeah, that's a fun experiment to try on children. I want to talk about Victoria more, though. This was fun, the Brooke and Victoria storyline. First of all, fun. Daphne looks so fucking amazing every time she's on screen. Those colors on her, everything. She's just
the hair,
holds
everything.
herself like a queen. It's incredible.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this was interesting. This constant struggle with Brooke and Victoria to find and Brooke so desperately wanting, like, coming to terms with how badly she wants her mother's love.
Yeah.
And that moment in the end really gutted me. That was so sad that she has the dream, goes and has the moment and repeats it. Does she sleep in the back of the store? I missed that part. Why did she wake up in the back of the store?
No, she went home. That's the bedroom in Brooke's house. But it's like, she's gone home from the night out with Millicent and Peyton and wakes up and goes to the store because she's had a dream about having gone to the store instead of going home. It wasn't super clear.
Yeah. Maybe just because that's the back of the set. My mind was thinking something else. Anyway, that was well done. And made me sad.
I know, it made me sad too. And it's funny, as soon as it started to happen, I was like, oh my God, I remember shooting this with Daphne. And I remember, we block shot. So we did all my coverage of the happy dream and then into the sad reality. And then we turned around and did the happy dream and the sad reality. And it was really emotional for both of us. It was so hard to have to, play those two differences. And I don't know, it gave me one of those like muscle memory, sense memory feelings where I was like, oh shit, it's like I can feel that hug and how nice it was for us both to have a great moment, especially because so much for her in this episode was so vicious. Vicious with Haley and Lindsay and Mia, vicious with
and Peyton.
Peyton going out and defending Brooke's honor like a true best friend. And then Victoria saying, it's clear you didn't have a mother. Like, oh my God, it was so heavy.
Here's the thing. What we normally see in romantic relationships for other characters is what we are seeing in Brooke Davis's female relationships.
Yeah.
She's got this problem with her mom, which is a toxic love, where like we see the teasing. We see like a tease of like what it could be. Because there's that scene where you guys are having brunch together and you're getting pissy about 0 is not a size. And your mom is like, ugh, we're their models, whatever. And then she tells you to eat. And you're like, oh, but I'm a size 4. She says, but you're my daughter and you're not a model. You're far too talented. And so we get that backhanded compliment that sometimes you get in a romantic relationship where it's like, no, this person loves me. Like they think I'm great. And Brooke tells her friends, she's like, you don't know. Like my mom's
she's
great.
Supportive. She's better. Oof.
Listen, Peyton Sawyer just wants to be your ducky. Peyton Sawyer just wants to show up and be like, she's mine. And I'm the only person that's allowed to tackle her in the front lawn. No one else is allowed to talk shit about her. Leave her alone.
Oh my God, I love that. I love Peyton as Ducky.
Yeah, she's your duck.
Yeah. And it's interesting that Brooke goes to bat for Peyton with Victoria. And then Peyton turns around and goes to bat for Brooke with Victoria. And in this way, but especially because our two characters have really, found the reconnection, found the bond. We're living together. It's almost like now she's our mom. She's like both of our fucking nightmares. And I love that Haley gets in on it. Haley's the one who's like, Bitch-toria was waiting. And it's like,
Bitch-toria.
We got Bitch-toria out of this episode. We got 0 is not a size out of this episode. We got like, we got
Queen too.
Such, just like iconic, like quotes
Lingo
from our show. It was so fun.
Have you ever had to fight one of your friend's parents?
No.
It's such a weird thing to have to fight a friend's like family member. Yeah, I mean, guys, I'm not one to mince words. And so, without going into personal detail, I have had to check some people I love's relatives, and it is uncomfortable because you have to say it with a smile. Like as a girl, you have to present it in a palatable way where you're like, hey, look, let's just all get on the same page here. And it is rare that anyone wants to get on the same page with you. Normally it's like,
it's so funny that you can do like, I'm so just like, well, that's fucking rude. Just say it. I don't know how you manage to like contain and then also present it in a palatable way. That is a talent.
Well, because you're trying to love the person that you love, right? And
of course,
creating a battle with their oppressor, if you will, is not going to make it any easier on them. But yeah, that's such a fine line where it's like, how do I fight for you but not make it worse?
Well, I love that Peyton just takes the risk because clearly it can't get any worse with Victoria.
No. Like, what do you think the first interaction was in third grade? Where
probably.
Where Victoria was like, this is what you bring home.
Yeah.
It's like a stray puppy. Bleh.
Peyton had some good stuff in this episode, too. I know we're kind of jumping around, but it's fitting because the episode bounced around a lot.
The episode jumped around so much.
Well, we're exhausted. Well, the fact that you brought Lindsay to the studio. So listen, Joy.
Oh, yeah. Let's go to the beginning.
I can't stop with the Peyton defense. Like, I'm watching this like, why the fuck is Lindsay there? And then when all that dialogue came out, I was like, oh, okay.
You're like, turns out I feel exactly the way they wrote me to feel.
This is a business endeavor. I don't need Lindsay, like, spilling a drink on the board. Like, she can't come in here. Get out.
Yeah.
I get so defensive about it.
It is also a weird thing when somebody brings an outsider who doesn't have any place in your creative process into your creative work. Like, it's one of the things that I find weird kind of about our jobs. Like, if you were coding at a tech company, nobody would ever stand over your shoulder at your chair and be like, what are you doing now? What are you doing now? What's going on there? And sometimes you'll get to work on a set, which is not nearly as intimate as a recording studio. And there's like 10 people at Video Village or like standing behind the A camera. And you're like, who are these people? I have to like fake a sex scene today. Like, I don't want those people in here.
Yeah.
Or like I have to cry. Could you not stand in the corner and like record on your phone right now? Like, hold on, guys. We got to have like a little bit of a boundary for the thing we're doing in this room that's so intimate. And that's like a bunch of us as actors on a stage with a bunch of people and camera guys.
But you've built a circle of trust.
Well, yeah, they're your family. Like they're your people. I can't imagine how completely emotionally naked I would feel as a recording artist if it was just me in a room and two women that I was working with in the booth. And then suddenly there's just a stranger being like, so what are you going to sing for me today?
Yeah. Haley should have known better.
You're probably a really nice person, but please leave. Like, come back tomorrow, I guess, so I can like know you're coming if you have to be here. But why are you here?
Was Haley there to record with Mia, or was she just like passing through to grab something on her way? I think that's where I was confused. Like, were they on their way to lunch?
Why would Mia be there by herself?
That's the thing. Victoria tells Haley, you're late for the session.
Oh, right. Yes.
Which is what makes it weird. So it's like, did they come to the session together and then they were going to hang out until lunch and then go to lunch? Like, again, this is just not great writing. Like, they didn't make clear what was happening.
Yeah, no, but it is weird that she brought Lindsay, especially not
so
only
weird.
just everything you said, Sophia, but just even the sheer fact that she's Lucas's girlfriend and Peyton is Lucas's ex-girlfriend, and it's already been tense. Why would she do that? Yeah. Like, another reason why Haley should have been really frazzled and just distracted and like overwhelmed. It's like, give her a free pass. She's just completely overwhelmed.
Yeah.
I just figured that Haley was like forcing Peyton's hand a little bit in like a loving way. Like, I know you're going to be fucking weird about this, and I'm not going to let you make it weird. Like, that's a reasonable girlfriend thing to do. And it's irritating for Peyton. It's irritating for Hilarie Burton, who totally aligns with my character. Yeah. Because they're just like, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, but do that on like a shopping day or like a lunch.
Yeah,
don't do it in a
lunch.
professional endeavor.
But don't you think that this is one of those things that happens on a TV show because they need to do certain scenes in certain sets. And then they're like, nah, we're going to do this combo. We're just going to make this happen. We got to get them together. So she'll just go with her. And there's always one person in the room going, don't you think that's weird? And everybody else goes, it doesn't matter. We don't have time.
Yeah.
Here's what I want to know. Why doesn't Lindsay have a job? She's never working on anything. Lindsay's just going to lunches, going to dinners, popping into Peyton's place, going to Clothes Over Bros. Lindsay's just bugging everybody.
Yeah, and why doesn't she always have a manuscript on her? If she's an editor, she should always be reading something.
Yeah. Well, apparently she's waiting on Lucas to write this book.
Yeah, just waiting on this dude.
I'm mad about it.
Speaking of Lindsay and Lucas, my brain is going now to the fight that you guys had, which was so good. But when he walked in and sat down in the studio, it felt to me like Lucas really was actually the emotional center of the whole episode. It hadn't grounded until he walked into that room, into your office, and started talking to you because I realized all the other storylines, everybody was buzzing on this like high energy drama, like trying to solve problems and kind of scurrying around. And Lucas was the only one who was calm and dropped in, which was nice to see. I feel like I hadn't seen that from him in a while.
Do you mean when he comes in to tell Peyton she has to apologize and then offers to help her, like in the beginning of the episode? Yeah,
that's right. And they got into a fight later. Was later or the same?
Yeah, there's two
later
scenes in Trick, and I loved filming these scenes with Chad. We had Tom Wright as our director, who I'll say it a million times was just a favorite of mine on multiple shows that I've worked on. I've done 3 different maybe 4 different television shows with him. He's just wonderful. And I remember really trusting him because we're having to deliver all this backstory in these 2 fight scenes and get out all this exposition and stuff. And we both feel 100% right in our approach. Like he really thought it was appropriate for him to show up and be like, I'm going to be the peacemaker. Mm-hmm. And Peyton like 100% feels she's right to be like, I need to avoid this with you at all costs. And I have a million other things going on. And watching the show back, like I remember Peyton catching so much shit for like, oh, she broke up Lucas and Brooke and she broke up Lucas and Lindsay, and Peyton is avoiding him at every turn. She's just like, pass. He's the one that keeps showing up. And so I need that to be acknowledged. But him saying, can I help you? And her saying no. Like if she were trying to reel him in, it would be like, it'd be great. Could you maybe stick around?
No, just like leave me alone so I can get over you and get on with my life and start living other things and having other dreams. Yeah. But that's what the fact that it all came out, it was like pushing away. I can't remember what he said that really launched you into your thing about the books. But it felt so real. The progression of that scene was so real and so visceral. I just thought it was so well done. It was my favorite scene in the episode. It was the best written scene in the episode too.
He says, you didn't think I could do it.
Yeah. That's what it was.
Ew.
Which is so shocking to Peyton because it was like, wait a second. Like, hold on now. But also that would be the thing that was such a turnoff for him that he could get over her.
Yeah.
But he didn't. He clearly didn't because he was so upset in the office saying to her, I proposed to you. You don't go in and fight for somebody that you're not still connected to, that you don't still kind of want.
But what I thought was really interesting about it and what made it feel so real to me is exactly that moment you're talking about, Joy, because he's yelling, saying, I did this. I asked you and you said no and you gave up on us. And she's like, you're writing a story. That's not what happened. I said, I'm not ready. I said, we're 19. I said, give me time. I said, I want to marry you. I want to be with you forever. She's reminding all of us in that scene of exactly what she said. And you do really realize like, oh, he's telling a story about what happened.
He only heard one thing.
Yeah, because he didn't get what he wanted and he didn't get it the way he wanted it. And so he threw it all back in her face. And it's so vindicating that she gets to say, you're the one who gave up on us.
Yeah.
Because you didn't get it your way. And I thought that was so special.
That he didn't get it it could have been that he didn't get it his way. I think I saw it as his expectation was at a certain place because it was so vulnerable. Like he was really putting everything out there. And when it didn't turn out, I don't know so much that it was like his way, like he was throwing a fit, as just the expectation of, if I'm going to put everything out there, you got to put everything out there too. And it just because it didn't come out the way he was expecting, he couldn't adjust.
Yeah.
Does that make sense what I'm saying? It didn't feel to me like he was throwing a fit. It felt just like he just didn't know how to adjust. He didn't know how to hear it.
We've said in the past couple of weeks, because our characters keep reminding everybody we're 21 years old. And this is such a 20, 21, 22-year-old fight to have where, he's allowed to be kind of bitchy and be like, oh, you didn't want me. But now that I'm a successful writer, now you want me, which is
Ugh,
like
gross.
It's
Ew.
so gross, but it's also
so gross.
like it's like kind of what it looked like from his angle. And
Yeah.
for Peyton, I remember having trouble with the blocking because we'd done the first scene and they were like, don't cry in this, Hilarie. Don't cry in this. You got to hold it, suck it up. Don't cry in this, because there was a part of me when he was like, can I help you? That just wanted to scream. Right.
Yeah.
So hold it in for the second one. And then I couldn't figure out what to do with my energy in that second one during the blocking rehearsal. I want to say it was Greg Prange that was like, do you just want to whip those books at him? And I was like,
Yes.
I do. I really do.
Yeah.
And so I was whipping those things across the room. And there was one that did hit Chad. And when you do something and you don't know what the reaction's going to be, and he loved it. He was just like, oh God, this feels so real. Like he was so game for it. But when we watched the episode, we were talking about how in that fight scene, Lucas goes in there and totally baits Peyton.
Yes.
She's calm. He starts making wild accusations. And then when she finally loses her shit, I did this thing where I like covered my mouth, and that was a total like natural reaction to spitting all that venom out. And he threw his hands up in the air. And I think that was like the only takes that we did. And it was like he couldn't handle her crazy. He'd driven her to the brink of crazy.
He was like, oh, you're being irrational.
Oh, you've gone too far. God, he makes her nuts.
He's the one that went down there, though. Why do you come looking for it, man?
That's it. And what it reminds me of, and I guess the reason I say, like, they wrote Lucas to be unable to tolerate anybody's reality but his own in this situation. And it really harkens back to some of that stuff that we all identified in like the beginning of high school, going, oh shit, now watching it back, you realize there's a narcissism under this person who, when he's with Peyton, he goes and he provokes Brooke and he checks in on Brooke and he wants to know how she's doing. When he's with Brooke, he's always going to check on Peyton and provoking Peyton. And I saw that. And part of me likes that the writers brought it back, because you go, oh, there's still a little bit of a child in there, just like there is with Nathan. He's throwing Nanny Carrie around the pool, just like he did with Peyton.
Yeah.
Like you see, we're 21. You see them in there.
I don't even know that it's like clinical narcissism so much as just selfishness and insecurity. It's like little boys that just don't grow up yet. Like every little kid.
I think Dan Scott is a clinical narcissist. I'm not
For sure.
saying, but you know what I mean? It's the tendency, it's the trait. And it is that thing of like, most women, because of the way the world is for us, like we suck up not getting things the way we want to get them. We're not very used to getting our way. When the do we ever? And when the boys don't get their way, they lose their fucking minds.
Yeah, they implode.
And his immaturity and his need to keep her on the hook and yet to blame her for it, I think the scene feels so beautiful because it feels so real.
Yeah.
It feels so messy and human. And I love that Peyton gets to be like, oh, f you. Like, not again. You've been doing this to me my whole life. And it's like, it's so, it's so vindicating when she's whipping those books at him. Cause you're like, yeah, man. Like he's got to realize what he's doing.
Yeah, you took this from me. I didn't take it from you. I was ready. I wanted to be there with you. I wanted to do it. I just needed to go slower, man. That's it.
Yeah.
That's all.
Dude, he left a dinner party with his girlfriend
Hello?
to come and have that conversation with Peyton.
You're right. I didn't even notice that.
And his girlfriend, who, by the way, drives by, go into their house and sees his car next to Peyton's car. Oof.
And here's what I don't like. This pissed me off when Lindsay at the dinner table is all like, oh, Peyton showed up because she's got some weird territorial thing about Lucas. Peyton hasn't reached out to Lucas once. Not once.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what's he going home to tell her? Oh, sorry, I ran into Peyton.
Sorry, she just needed something at the office.
Yeah.
God.
Barf.
Barf is right.
Wow, that's a really good point.
Why were you in your underwear on that bed in her dream?
It was his dream.
It was his dream.
Or
It
his
was
dream?
Lucas's dream.
Did you have a fight about that?
Yeah, I did have a fight about it because they wanted me seated like tits
Of course
up.
they did. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm actually going to hide as much of my body as possible. So I'm going to lay down and have real big hair. So all you see is feet popping up.
It was very cute.
Yeah.
I mean, it was very like pinup girl cute, but I just knowing everything, I was like, I wonder if she had a fight about that or if that was just.
That blocking was for sure a fight.
Yeah.
It just seemed so dumb. Like you could have been wearing a short little black slip and it would have had the same effect of just like looking sexy on a bed.
I could have been fully clothed.
You could have been fully in jeans, sweatpants.
You could have been in the t-shirt with the long sleeve and the jeans and been like, when he proposed to me, you could have been in the outfit from the proposal.
Could have been.
Yeah. Instead, tits up. But that was Tom Wright. Again, I could say to Tom Wright, like, I don't want to do it. And he'd be like, baby, just do it however you want.
Like, okay. Well, here's what I am going to say. If I can plunk us out of the like ick of always being asked to be in our underwear on our show. And just from like our adult perspectives, acknowledge that you looked smoking fucking hot. I'm going to do it.
Good.
I was like, damn, girl. Because you're right, Joyce. She looked like a little pinup character.
Yeah.
And I got to give props for your Hottie McHottie moment in this episode. And for us getting spicy Hottie McHottie Joe Manganiello.
Girl.
He's so spicy. I forgot how spicy Owen is with Brooke. Joy, we were watching the episode and we both were like, oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Like
he's very forward.
Woo! He threw the vibes and y'all both did really great.
Why didn't we have bartenders that look like that in real life in Wilmington?
I mean, we did sort of, but if we flip it to Stephanie,
there were hot
there was
chick
like the
bartenders.
hottest.
There was no Owen.
Yeah, no, there
was
really
no
wasn't.
Owen. I like Owen because he's doing that kind of douchey guy move of like, I don't know who you are, but like I really got the sense he had no idea who she was.
Same, no idea. It was such a good move. Can you sign this? Yeah. Who do I make it out to? Trick for $37.
Yeah,
this is so good. It was so good. I also love him being behind the bar for all these interactions that Brooke is having with female fans of Clothes Over Bros, girls who wear her clothes, and him being like, I know how I'm going to hit on that lady. I'm going to fuck with her.
Yeah.
Like, it's such alpha energy. It was spicy.
He's playing a long game.
Yeah.
And I'm into it.
Yeah,
but
I liked
remember
it.
when they cast Joe? We all were just like, whoa, he is tall. He was so large.
So tall.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And him and Paul would like stand next to each other. And it was amazing to see two like Viking giants.
Gigantic man. I just loved knowing, because that was all of our first interaction on camera, like the look on your face, Hilarie, and the look on Lisa Goldstein's face, like y'all were not acting.
No, it was real.
Lisa did her little nose touch that she always used to do, and then it became Millicent's thing, but that was Lisa all the time. And I was like, oh, everybody's blushing. This is great.
Well, because he came in and he was so nice. Like, he was incredibly kind and was kind of nervous, had like a little bit of a nervous energy. And I remember me being nervous because he was so physically large. Like, and I said something really lame to him in the transpo van one day. I was just like, your bigness kind of creeps me out, because I was trying to explain to him why I was like leaning back, and I didn't mean it as like mean. I just meant like, you're really big and it is intimidating. And as a woman, I feel vulnerable around it, and I don't like the way this is feeling. And so I was just trying to explain myself, and I really stepped in it. And he was just like, I'm sorry. I'm like, no, don't apologize for being large.
You're like, I'm just trying to tell you why I might be awkward around you.
Yeah. I'm the awkward one. Let me apologize.
Let me explain how awkward I am. Give me 10 minutes. Hold on.
Yeah. Let me just give you a little diatribe. If I remember correctly, I think Joe is like 6'5" or 6'6". Like, he's a big dude.
He's very tall.
Yeah. And I remember only realizing, like, obviously I knew he was a big dude because Brooke and Owen had a whole vibe. So I wound up spending a lot of time with him. But I only ever realized what it meant to be that tall ironically, one night I was out playing pool with Lee Norris and Joe and Jane Beck and a bunch of our friends from work after we'd wrapped a scene at Trick. And somebody dropped a beer bottle and I had sandals on. And Joe went yoink and just grabbed me by the shoulders and picked me up and lifted me out of the glass. And I remember being in the air going, oh my God, this is how tall you are. Just being like, wow, you see wow, the floor is so far away from here. Because he just lifted me right in front of his face and moved me over. And it was like, I was essentially like Jackson's size. I was like a child. He just picked me up and moved me. And I was like, whoa, you see, like the floor is so far from your face.
Yeah.
It's not that far from my face. I've never known what that is like. And we just died laughing.
I love that instinct. Strong men using their powers for good.
Yeah, it was really nice.
I remember getting in the van with him one day and being like, hey man, what'd you do last night? And he was like, I went on a ghost tour by myself. And it was like he had said the magic words. I was like, who are you? We're gonna be friends now.
Yeah.
He did a movie with my husband right when I gave birth to George.
I
was still like, I had literally had given birth to a baby like 4 weeks before. And I'm on a red carpet with like 8 pairs of Spanx on. And I look up and I see Handsome Joe. And I'm like, of course you're here. It's still awkward, Joe. What do you want from me?
How you doing? Give me a hug, but not too hard. Don't freak me out.
Yeah, God, you're just... Yeah, no, he's lovely.
He's so lovely.
How long does he stick around? Is he around?
He's here for a while. He's back in season 8, 9.
He came back?
I think we have him in 5 and 6, if I'm not mistaken. And then we lost him for a while because he got that big part on True Blood.
He got famous, man.
Yeah, he got real famous.
Did he? Wait, I don't think he got True Blood until later.
It was while I was still on the show because I remember being like, you dumbasses lost him? You lost him to the werewolves? Come on now.
Okay, my timeline's all mixed up. I just remember him working out incessantly for this part and to play this werewolf. And I don't even remember if it was an audition or if I think maybe he did have the part, but he was training for it. And he came in and he was sick one day. He had a cold and he was like clearly very sick. He was like, yeah, I got to go to the gym after this. It's like, dude, why don't you just go home and sleep? Like, you're sick. Your body needs to heal. He's like, what did he say? It's like, sickness is a figment of your imagination. And it's like your body, like your subconscious knows that you want to stop because it hurts so much to train. So it's manifesting a sickness to make you stop and you have to push through it. I have never forgotten that. And there are days when I don't want to work out and I'm like, am I pretending to be sick because I don't want to work out? That's what Joe Mango said.
Honestly, incredible.
Joe. Yeah, I'm real into it. And I like that we get to see Brooke be flirty, but not prioritize it. Like she's like, that was fun. I'm going to go home
with you guys.
So great.
I just love the dynamic. The friendship dynamics feel so strong. Like you teasing me about dating and then Millicent coming in and, saying there's nobody special. Yeah. You can be fired. You know that? And I cackled when Peyton said, yeah, but then she'd just come work for me and you'd still be paying her. I was like, that is just so funny. And like, I love when we get to see us all being together as women and the energy is up and everybody's having a good time. And you're right. We're not prioritizing these dudes. And I think maybe that's what makes that contrast when Peyton gets ambushed by Lucas again. By the way, ambushed, just like he fucking ambushed her with that engagement ring.
Girl.
Comes and ambushes her in her office.
In Brooke's party, ruining her night.
Every single time. You can do better. Woof.
Leave me alone.
So annoying.
God, I just had fun with my friends. I just got Mia to agree to finally write this record.
Yes.
Kate Vogel was so cute in this episode. What a sweet little lamb. Oh, God.
That speech that she delivered about if I can just make, a listener's experience better for 5 minutes. Yeah. That whole thing, she did that so beautifully. And as I was watching that scene, I was like, God, I forget that this was Kate's first acting job was our show.
Yeah. That's
And
right.
she just is so honest and present. And it was really beautiful, that scene between the two of you.
And it that scene makes sense where she's like, I don't need the money. I don't need the fame. I just want to write a song that makes someone's day okay for 5 minutes when they're real low.
Yeah.
And the whole time she's giving that speech, all I can think about is that Heart song, Barracuda. Because if I'm having a bad day and Barracuda comes on, I'm like, those bitches nailed it. They nailed it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's my 5 minutes of magic.
Anne and Nancy really came through for you.
They sure did. No, I like that sentiment.
So, sidebar, the passenger train that exists in Tree Hill, apparently. Quentin reading his book on the train.
Is he on the subway?
He's on a subway.
He said the train?
Never, ever seen a train in Tree Hill. And never since, I don't believe.
No. There's no public transportation.
It wasn't a bus. It was a train.
Literally, the only public transportation that exists in Wilmington is the trolley.
Yes. That would have been hilarious, though. Quentin on the trolley. Ding, ding.
Or those carriages.
I mean, I would have been into it. I also, hats off to Robbie, because I loved the way he came into your dinner party, as random as it was,
Yeah.
and said, I'm going to do this, and essentially makes amends with his teacher and his coach. And then by the door, he's just a dick to Nathan. And I'm like, God, this kid, because just when you think you're getting him, he doesn't let you have the payoff. And as frustrating as it is, because I'm like, just let these people help you. It also feels so great that he just doesn't have a reason to trust them yet. And he's not going to give it up too soon. It's nice.
Well, Nathan's comeback was perfect. He's like, when I'm back on the team, I'm going to crush your scoring title and I'm going to erase you. And Nathan's like, yeah, I would have said the same thing. Yeah. Anyway, later, dude.
Hope you do.
It was cool to me that what seemed, at least as a viewer, to have cracked that facade for Quentin was Nathan being honest with him. And when Quentin gets in his face, asking where his team is and, essentially telling Nathan he's a washed up athlete, James made this choice to be really quiet and still and just say, yeah, I have a team. My uniform is regret, mistakes. And he just was like, join my shitty team if you want it. My wife and my brother, they're giving you a chance. Like, that was all in the subtext of his performance. And it was so effective.
Yeah.
And it was nice to see that got to him. And then that Robbie made the choice to try to kind of come back and act invulnerable with him. That, for me, made it feel clearer that he really was feeling vulnerable.
Yeah.
Everybody's being so provocative in this episode. Maybe that's what, there's so many fights being picked.
Yeah.
Even Mouth's boss.
Yeah.
Oh my God, we have to talk about that. But so we've got Robbie poking Nathan in the chest. We've got Peyton poking Lindsay in the chest.
Yeah.
Lucas poking Peyton.
Yeah. And then Victoria poking Brooke.
Carrie poking Haley.
It's like the whole episode has been turned up to a boil. You know when a pot is on the stove and the lid is rattling? Like, this whole episode feels like a rattling lid.
That's a great analogy for this episode, actually.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and out pops naked Nanny Carrie at the end. Full boil.
And I mean, it was so uncomfortable watching her put those pants on. I really actually couldn't watch it.
No.
Dude.
On what planet is this guy not like, she's got to go?
Dude, James's face in the scene where you're having your nightmare and you walk in and he and Carrie are making out.
He looked really happy to be making out.
For real. By the way, his face in this whole episode, when she's putting his pants on, when he turns to you and they're making out, I was like, like, is he acting? What's going on? What's going on with Baby J over there? Like,
No chill.
He really looks like caught.
He was so happy to have somebody else to make out with. That's why he'd been kissing me for like 4 years.
Joy, I think he legitimately was worried you were going to be mad. Do you know what I mean?
No,
you know when you have an acting partner for so long that when there's a shift in the dynamic,
it's a little.
Yeah, it's an unconscious loyalty, but also it shakes the dynamic. And I could feel James being like, hey, this isn't going to change anything between us, right? Like, we're still cool, right?
Are we okay?
We're fine. We got a kid. Come on, baby. We could work through this.
Oh my God.
So uncomfortable. Okay, so the mouth boss stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Guys, I'm struggling with this storyline so much because it's like literally the fight that I had with our boss in season 4, and then it gets put on camera, and it's like,
As a woman.
well, yeah, it's like a way to get out in front of it in a way where then if it's like, oh, Hilarie tells the story, she's just taking that from the narrative of the show. Like,
Whoa.
getting out in front of something is a skill.
Yeah. And to make the woman the villain, to write a storyline with things you have said to your employees. Oh, what? You're not into me? Well, maybe you're not long. Maybe you're not going to be long on this show.
Yeah. Maybe you're not good for on camera.
Yeah. To flip it and make it a woman.
Yeah.
That's really intentional.
It's not that women can't do that. I mean, there are
Totally.
Sure, doesn't matter which sex you are. Like you can treat people badly. But the fact that it was specifically taken from that personal situation and then twisted and put into the mouth of a woman on purpose.
Yeah.
Because he was trying to dig. That's so gross. And
well, look, I mean, the narrative in the show is that the group of coworkers have all gotten together and been like, there's a problem here. And that person is toxic and someone needs to stand up to them. And the one that does is secretly hot for her.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And the one that does in public gets fired.
It feels so yucky. And you know what? That might just be me reading into it. I am grown up enough to be like, I'm sensitive to the meta of it all. It could just be a big old coinkadink.
that's very big of you. I doubt that it is.
Yeah, I co-sign what Joy said.
I appreciate that about you, Hilarie.
Yeah.
Oh God, every line and every well just pisses me right.
I hate it now too. I hate
I hate it.
Like 3 different characters in this episode are all like, well.
Barf.
It's not enough just for Chris Keller to have that line.
Ugh.
No, now Dan Scott is talking like the kids.
I gotta be honest, the only person that I don't hate saying it is Chris Keller, because Tyler's just delicious.
And he's supposed to be a douche.
When the rest of us had to say it, I was like, oh, now you're just getting greedy. Now you're just being gross and like pissing on trees. Stop it.
Well, hopefully Mouth stops dating his boss, because I'm tired of that whole storyline. And I'm super excited that Millie thinks that Mouth is really cute. And I can't wait to see that develop more.
Oh my God, the hot guy from the opening and then the duck.
That was funny.
So cutie.
She's so immediately likable. Like right away, it just feels like she's part of the pack. And that's a cool vibe. She sure did a good job.
She just adds such lovely energy to our show. And Lisa has such amazing comedic timing. Every little thing she does, the way she drops behind the counter, the way when Daphne walks in, she goes, I'll be in the back. Like she just has all these little things that really jump off the page. And it's like such a testament to who she is as an actor. And it feels so exciting to think about where her character goes.
Yeah, she kind of functions on pure instinct, it seems like, which is really refreshing. I'm sure she rehearses and does her own process, but I love that on set, it feels like whenever she's delivering a line, she's just in the moment and fully reacting with exactly whatever she's actually feeling. It's fun to work with.
It's so cool. And it's just exciting when I think about all the years of material we got to do together, and where, even for Millicent and Brooke, where 0 is not a size winds up. You know, it's like a big arc that we're endeavoring on. And it was cool to see. I really didn't know that was happening in this episode.
Yeah. Can I, when you and Victoria were at lunch having that conversation, these are the kinds of things that I think about that drive me crazy, that sometimes I just have to let go. Does it bother either of you that they're clearly done with their lunch, or like well into their lunch, and now they're having the relevant conversation. Like, how did they get through arriving at the restaurant, sitting down, ordering, and eating half their meal before the major conversation came up?
Guys, prop food has always confounded me.
Prop food is hard.
I remember hearing that like Brad Pitt always ate an apple in everything because he like loves prop food. Like he's always eating something in scenes. And I remember being so irritated with that. I hate prop eating.
Prop eating?
It's terrible.
I just don't get why couldn't they have been arriving at the restaurant and have the meal? Like, why? Those are the kinds of things that drive me crazy. I come and sit down and I'm like, why is there a half-eaten plate of food in front of me? This would have been the first thing that I had to say to her. So how did we? But audiences, maybe nobody notices that kind of stuff.
Well, but I would also say that Victoria is like such a business person. I wouldn't be surprised if it was a lot of like ticking of things. And then it's like, okay, we've done all the work. Now I have to talk to you.
By the way, okay, fair enough. Good. Thank you. That's how that would have gone on set. I would have been like, this doesn't make any sense. And Sophia would go, well, actually, we could have done it this way. And I would say, oh, okay.
I feel like that would be it. Because, it would have been interesting if, you'd seen them get out of the car and be like, okay, we really need to whatever, and then get seated and get interrupted. But we just don't have the luxury in 42 minutes.
Nope.
It's funny now thinking about that storyline and thinking about, Brooke kind of taking agency with resetting the Macy's meeting and saying like, I do have a mind for business. I can do this. I have good ideas. God, it's really wild to remember how many people loved Zero Is Not a Size.
Yeah.
And also the people who got really mad about it.
Really?
People got mad about it?
People got mad about it. People were like, it's just the reverse of fat shaming, like to make fun of skinny girls and I was like, that's not it. Also, please go on the internet and do a little bit of research that a size 0 didn't exist until like the mid to late 60s. Like,
really? I thought it was going to be like 80s.
No, I don't think so. I think truly, apparently, if I'm remembering correctly, because I looked this up then to make sure I knew what I was talking about when I got asked about it. So if my math is a little off or my memory is a little off, feel free to let us know, but please do it kindly. I believe that it all kind of came to be because of that model Twiggy, that like super skinny girl who essentially didn't fit into things. But, the notion, and the thing that really stuck with me was reading a report from a psychologist who specializes in disordered eating, who said the idea that we could tell people that to be nothing is the ultimate attainment. Like if you had sizes like 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, which happen, in some countries, and or you start at 2, 4, 6, and you go up to, 22 or whatever, wherever we go, people have something to them, but like what it does subconsciously to say to someone, well, the smallest you can be, which society tells women is the best they can be, is nothing. And then in the 90s, you had, I don't know if Abercrombie did it first. I think they did, but again, I could be wrong.
The 00, man.
Yeah. When they introduced the 00 and that they correlated that with eating disorders and all of these things.
Yeah.
I was like, we got to talk about this. It's weird. Like, we don't do this to men. No. I don't think men have a size 0. It's just women, and I was really proud of us for having that conversation and really excited about it. I thought that it was really important. And I don't know, I guess I'm curious as we get back into it on the pod. I'm curious to hear what our listeners think as they rewatch these episodes with us.
That's cool.
I mean, hopefully it feels like a no-brainer now. The fact that it was like kind of shocking back then to make this declaration. And hopefully now it's just like, well, yeah, duh.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah.
We like a duh. Is that okay? So I already gave my honorable mention of the penis Rorschach, but what are your honorable mentions for the episode?
Liked Peyton's lightning t-shirt at the beginning. If we're giving honorable mentions to clothing items.
I have 2. I would say the actress who played Molly for
She
your
was
beginning
so
scene, Peyton.
sweet.
That, like seeing you go back to your childhood home and seeing your bedroom and the shelves with this new paint and this new person, it made me really nostalgic. I cried through that whole scene. It really hit me. And the other honorable mention is that vintage coral colored telephone chair that Mia is sitting on in that scene in Trick, because that is the chair that I literally shoved in the back of my station wagon for you when our show wrapped.
Oh
and
my God, I can't wait.
When all the stages were getting cleaned out, the front legs are broken. There's like split fabric. And I was like, I'll have it repaired. I don't care. I'm taking this for Hilarie. So I have that. And by the way, all of this is still in storage because right after we wrapped, I moved to Chicago. So like, I really got to go through my storage unit. I have the red fringe lamp from Trick from the OG days.
Trick was so fun.
I know. And I have that telephone chair. And I was like, I'm taking these for her. And if I get in trouble, I don't give a shit. And
so good
to see that, I'm like, oh my God, I have that. I have it wrapped in plastic in a storage unit in the valley.
I'm going to get an RV in the valley, load up, make my way back cross country. When you said that was the chair, I was like,
that's the chair. What? That's the one. No, she fell out of her chair.
I loved that set so much.
It was a great set.
It was the best set.
When we would wrap work, I would stay after work with Mike Rail and Matt Fan and Polar Bear and a bunch of the other dudes. And we would have band practice for like 2 hours after work and just drink beers and hang out.
I love drinking beers in the Trick set.
Yeah.
Loved it.
Felt like a cool bar, our very own private little cool bar.
You guys, we have a fan question.
Okay.
Ooh, what is it?
From Wendy.
As far as
careers go, if your lives had turned out exactly as you had pictured they would as teenagers, what would it look like now?
I mean, as a teenager?
Yeah. I always just wanted to be on Broadway. I would just be living in New York with a family and being on Broadway, and that's all I would be doing.
I really thought I was going to work for the government. Real glad that didn't pan out, guys. Like, I went to college for forensic psychology and like criminology and stuff. And I just remember them handing me this big binder full of autopsy photos. And I was like, okay, this is my homework. Like, this is what I have to study this year. And realizing how unsuited I am because I get so emotionally attached to things that it was not a line of work that I was going to be able to do long term, but that I wanted to be able to support maybe later, which is like what I'm doing right now. But I for real thought I was going to be Clarice from Silence of the Lambs.
Yeah.
Minus the kidnapping.
Yeah. Just an old country bumpkin solving crimes.
I mean, you kind of do that now with your show, by the way.
It's a different entry point.
Yeah, but you figure it out, right? Like, I don't know. I guess it would depend on what teenage year, because there was still a point.
Yeah.
Like in my early teens, I still thought I was going to be a heart surgeon. Like I was going to medical school.
Dude.
And then suddenly I had this arts requirement that I thought was such a pain in the ass. I was like, what do you mean I have to do a play? Stupid.
Dumb.
So mad. Dumb. And then I did it and was like, oh, it's weird. It's like literally my favorite subject in school comes off the page and to life. My parents were so thrilled when I told
I
them
bet.
about
I was going to say, what did your parents say? Oh, that's great, babe.
Theater school. Here we are. Now I'm just doing 8 shows a week on the West End. So
Ta-da!
Yeah, mama. That's so awesome.
so crazy.
All right, do we want to spin a wheel?
Yeah,
I like where this
do
this
it.
season's going to really wild places. I'm into all of it. I'm happy with this season so far. What?
Ooh.
Most likely to.
Be a secret superhero.
With a question mark.
Okay, characters. Most likely to be a secret superhero.
Okay.
Who's got like an underground lair?
Mm.
Who's making those choices?
I mean, I think it would be Nathan Scott. Like, he's the Bruce Wayne of Tree Hill.
Yes.
Like, he doesn't have any powers, but he's got money. And we've seen him in a Batman suit. Like, you know.
Yeah, his dad's a bad guy. So it's like
Yeah.
that origin story is all there.
What do you
I
think?
was gonna say maybe like one of the River Court boys, maybe Cullen or Junk or somebody who we don't know enough about.
We give boys too much credit. I need it to be a girl.
Great.
Like, who's unsuspecting?
Bevan?
Remember when Bevan pulled that shit out of her hat where she's like, this is a conifer that's blah, 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 with the trees.
Yeah.
I could totally see that. Saving people's lives and then just being like, please don't tell anyone.
Yeah. Oh my God, you guys, it was nothing. Okay, bye.
Yeah, it's totally Bevan.
Yeah, okay. And then who in real life is a secret superhero?
Barbara?
Yeah, I could see Barb thwarting some shit. Like seeing somebody steal an old lady's purse on the sidewalk and just get right in there.
Yeah.
She's the right amount of graceful and aggressive.
Yeah.
I would say like any of our moms, like Daphne, Barbara, Moira.
Yep.
Yeah, I like that.
You know, Cheryl. They all take no prisoners. Okay.
They're like the Mrs. Incredible come to life.
Yeah. Where's that show?
I'm into
About
it.
a bunch of moms that are just like, we'll fix this.
Actual superheroes. That's actually kind of great.
Yeah.
Like soccer moms by day, superheroes by night.
Happens.
Into it.
What do we got next week?
Guys, next week we've got season 5, episode 7, In the Club. Ruh-roh.
That's not what it says, Sophia. What does it say?
I cannot. I shan't.
Do it. Do it.
Do it.
Nobody wants to hear any of us go, Mia in the club. Like,
In the club.
no.
Duh club. We're going.
Club.
Duh club. Yeah.
Oh, man. I hope it's happy. I'm really scared of what is going to be happening with Nanny Carrie in the next episode, you guys.
Oh, yeah.
We're only 7 episodes into the season, and she's naked in the pool. Bless Tori for committing so hard and doing it so beautifully. Oh, boy.
We'll have to have her on to talk about it soon.
I can't wait.
Thanks for joining us, guys. That was fun. All right.
Bye.
Even though the episode is weird.
Bye-bye.
See you next week. Hey, thanks for listening.
Don't forget to leave us a review. You can also follow us on Instagram at Drama Queens OTH.
Or email us at dramaqueens@iheartradio.com. See you next time.
We're all about that high school drama girl, all about them high school queens. We'll take you for a ride in our comic girl, cheering for the right team. Drama queens, smart girl, rough girl, fashion but you're tough girl. You could sit with us, girl. Drama queens, drama queens, drama queens, drama queens, drama queens.